You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next, the April 13th meeting of the LaPorte County Sheriff Merit Commission. You can find information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Good morning. I'd like to welcome everyone to the April 13th, 2022 meeting of the LaPorte County Sheriff's Department Merit Board. You please rise for a Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Schooley, if you would. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Did everyone receive a copy of the minutes from the March meeting? Were there any corrections? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Have a motion to have a second?
Second.
Motion seconded. Any questions? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Thank you. If I could, I'd like to, on a personal note, take an opportunity to thank everyone for the thoughts and prayers when I went through my recent triple bypass surgery, which, believe me, I would never wish that on anyone, but doing pretty well. Have to give absolutely excellent kudos to my wife. Without her, I don't know if I'd even be here. And Sheriff, I want to thank you for your daily check-ins, either with me or her, and it meant a lot, so thank you very much.
It's good to have you here.
Thank you. With that, it's all yours.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kimmel. Welcome, everyone. It's good to see everyone today. We'll get started with our agenda, and the first item on our agenda today is our calls for service. From last month, you'll see that they were up 8% in the month of March when compared to our activity in the month of February. In February, we responded to 2,043 calls for service, while in March, we responded to 2,208. We did have a 1% increase in crashes from February to March. We went from 94 in February to 95 in March. The number of traffic stops increased during that time period by 33%, and citations also increased by 41%. We are in the midst of several traffic enforcement safety blitzes right now, one of which is focusing on school bus safety, and those that are passing the school buses while their stop arms are out and their red lights are activated, and people are passing them in anyway, regardless of the fact that they're loading and unloading. So we are targeting them. Kind of a head scratcher, but our number of car deer crashes did rise last month by 63%. We were going down considerably, but with that said, we did only have 18 in the month of March. But for those that struck a deer, it was fairly catastrophic. Fortunately, no serious injuries for any of the drivers or the occupants of the vehicles. Unfortunately, to the deer, there were some. And our deputies did check on 99 disabled vehicles last month, so they're out and they're hitting our roadways, and they're checking on those that are off the side of the road and trying to render as much assistance and aid as they can. One of the interesting facts I wanted to bring to your attention today, I know the news media always picks up on this, and this is really interesting, are some statistics that Lisa Harlow, who's responsible for our crash reports and statistics, she and the state of Indiana have identified the 12 most dangerous intersections in the county. We call them the Dirty Dozen intersections. And as you'll see in your notes, that the number one frequented location in the county, the intersection with the most crashes, is Franklin and US 20 in Michigan City. There's a high volume of traffic, so not much of a surprise there, but there were 21 crashes that occurred there last year. The next is State Road 2 and US 35 here in the city of LaPorte. That would be at the base of the overpass in Lincoln Way. There were 19 crashes. The next intersection is State Road 39 and US 20 with 16 crashes. The next most frequently located area where there are the most crashes are 400 North and 900 West with 15, followed by US 20, US 35 with 15 crashes. At State Road 39 and US 35 here in the city of LaPorte, there were 12 crashes, and you'll note that the next one is the I-94 ramp onto US 20 for eastbound traffic where there were 10 crashes. The next location is US 20 and Woodland Avenue with 10 crashes, followed by US 421 and 400 North where there were 9 crashes. There were 3 others that were tied with 9, and the next one is Meyer Drive at Franklin Street in Michigan City. The next one is 600 East and State Road 2 with 9 crashes, and then 300 North and Johnson Road with 9 crashes. I'd like to draw to your attention, there are a couple of locations on here that a couple of years ago certainly would have been on there. One location would be 300 West in US 20. Another location would have been 400 West in US 20, and another one would have been Byron Road in US 20, and those are noticeably absent. And we think that's due primarily to the safety upgrades that the Department of Transportation took, and also our increased enforcement along US 20 has significantly partnered together to reduce the number of crashes, so we're really pleased with that, especially given the fact that nearly every one of those crashes that occurred at the locations, those 3 locations along US 20, were serious bodily injury crashes and or fatality crashes, so it significantly reduced that. Also noticeably absent is the intersection of State Road 2 and US 20. Since they put the Dogbone intersection in there, there have been virtually no crashes that have occurred. There have been just a couple, and they've been minor property damage crashes, no personal injury crashes, and that is a result directly of that Dogbone. The state of Indiana said it wouldn't reduce crashes, but it would reduce the number of serious bodily injury and fatality crashes, and they were right. An added benefit was the fact that it almost eliminated all crashes because those that are entering that intersection, when they actually take the Dogbone, have no choice but to slow down. So that reduced the number of crashes that have occurred. We're really pleased with that. That certainly helps our workload out as well. Next item is the fact that we responded to 5 calls for service at Franciscan Hospital in Michigan City in March, which was 7 fewer than what we responded to in the month of February. Deputy Nate Albanese is in week 13 of basic recruit training at the Northwest Indiana Law Enforcement Academy. He is scheduled to graduate on Friday, April 29th at 1 p.m. at the Academy location in Hobart, which is the old Hobart High School. Upon graduation, he'll immediately begin field training that will last through mid-August. Merit Board training from the Indiana Sheriff's Association is April 28th from 7:30 a.m. until 11:30 that morning, and it can be attended virtually. Merit Commissioner Laura Francisconi has registered, and Mr. Miller has indicated that he'd like to be registered as well. So immediately after this meeting, I'll do that. Mr. Miller, expect then a confirmation from the ISA on your Sheriff's Office email account. You'll get it from a gal named Laura Vest. If any other commissioners would like to participate or attend, let me know. You're certainly welcome to go down to the site. I'm not going to be able to because I'll be out of state at that time. It is a long drive, and it's just as effective if you take the class virtually. Mr. Kimmel and I and Mrs. Francisconi have done both of those things. We've been on site, we've done it virtually, and I would suggest you do it virtually, but certainly if you'd like to go, you're welcome to do that, and I can register for you for that as well. The County Commissioners granted us permission to sell 12 vehicles that have been determined to be in need of replacing. They've also given us permission to seek bids on 12 replacement vehicles. 11 of those 12 vehicles are actually for merit, 9 of which are for patrol, 2 are for investigations, and then 1 is a replacement van for a jail van that is on its last legs. Bid specifications have been sent out. They were sent out last Thursday morning, and we are looking to purchase 9 2022 Police Pursuit all-wheel drive sport utility vehicles, and again, those are for patrol. 2 2022 Police Pursuit 4x4 1500 crew cab pickup trucks, 1 of which is for patrol, and that will be assigned to Captain Smythe, and that will aid in him trailering our boats to and from the different lakes. We're in need of a vehicle in which we can do that. And again, it is Police Pursuit rated. It's specific to law enforcement patrol. And we are also looking for the 2022 Police Pursuit all-wheel drive sedan. And as I previously mentioned, the van that we were given permission to purchase. And I'll talk about that here in just a second. The County Council passed at first reading the proposed 0.5% public service local income tax, which is commonly referred to as the PS Lit, at their April 11th special meeting. That was on Monday night. Contrary to some misinformation out there, that's not a 50% raise on income tax. It is a 0.5%. Unfortunately, there's misinformation that's being spewed out there that is ginning people up, and I too would be outraged at the prospect of a 50% personal income tax, but that is not it. It's a 0.5%. The lit passed a 6-1 vote. We're very appreciative of our county council for making a really difficult decision about increasing the tax, but we appreciate their support, and they recognized after doing a lot of research and asking for a lot of budgeted items and a lot of statistical information, they based their decision on that and some testimony and asking some really tough questions. The second and final reading is going to take place on April 25th at the regular county council meeting, and we hope that it again passes that. If it does, it will go into effect, as I understand it, that tax will then begin to be removed from individuals' paychecks on or around the 1st of October, and emergency services will begin to see it on or about the 1st of January 2023. As I previously mentioned at the April 11th special council meeting, the council did grant us permission to spend from our misdemeanor account, which is a discretionary fund specific for the jail, an amount not to exceed $31,000 for the emergency replacement of a 2007 Chevrolet van that's unreliable and it needed to be immediately replaced. We have since purchased that van. The van is now at an outfitter. We took the old van, they're removing the insert, and it was important for us to get a Chevy van because the prisoner insert, which is an aluminum insert, in which it's a compartment in which we can fit prisoners in and isolate them and secure them. It was removed from the old Chevy van, and it's merely being slid into the new Chevy van. So part of the cost, the $31,000, is going to the outfitter so they can do that. The van has been taken from the dealership. It is now with the outfitter. The insert has already been removed from the old van. They're working on inserting it into the new van, and then it will be good to go after that date. The cost of the van was $25,000, and that was after about $12,000 in buyer assistance. And what is really interesting about this, and a lot of credit goes to Major Haferkamp and Bob Parks, our chief mechanic, is literally there are no vans that can be found in the United States. None of the major manufacturers are making vans right now, and there are no plans to be making any vans at least until October. We were very fortunate to find this van over in Fort Wayne, and we were very lucky that we were the agency that got that one and only van that's available, because we didn't know what we were going to do. We were sorely in need of a new van. The van that we're getting rid of, as I said, is a 2007, and it has well over 100,000 miles on it. It just is no longer reliable, and when we're transporting prisoners, we need to have a reliable means of transportation. We can't afford to have that, for security purposes, die while it's in transit, whether it be to transit to court or to another jail or prison facility, or down to the reception and diagnostic center in Plainfield, transporting prisoners that have been sentenced to the DOC. So that was really important for us, and again, thank you to you, Major, for researching and looking and finding this van along with Bob Parks. Recently, we had an elected official who publicly questioned law enforcement's involvement with federal task forces in Michigan City and the county, and the number of violent offenders that we in law enforcement deal with. In March, the Michigan City Fugitive Apprehension Street Team and the United States Marshal Task Force, which we have participation in, we have two and a half members of our department that are assigned to these task forces. They arrested 47 violent offenders in our county. That was in March. In February, they arrested 37 violent offenders, and in January, they arrested 36. In 2021, our FAST team worked 574 individual cases looking for individuals who were wanted on 1,382 separate charges. They made 449 arrests. 31 of the individuals that they were seeking surrendered themselves at our jail when they learned that law enforcement was seeking them. And they also found 75 additional who were found to already be in custody of other law enforcement agencies. Since January 1st, 3 of those suspects that they took into custody were wanted for murder. So as you can see, these are very violent offenders. And to give you an idea of just how violent these offenders are, Sergeant Brett Swanson has provided a spreadsheet in which he names the exact charges of the individuals that they arrested in the month of March. So again, in the month of March, they arrested 47 individuals, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a history of these 47 individuals and what they were wanted for. These were their charges: neglect of a dependent resulting in death, criminal confinement while armed with a deadly weapon, domestic battery with means of a deadly weapon, felon carrying a handgun, dealing methamphetamine, domestic battery with injury to a person under the age of 14 years of age, obstruction of justice with domestic violence and violence against a child, possession of a firearm by a seriously violent felon, armed robbery, possession of a narcotic drug, aggravated battery, felon carrying a handgun, possession of a narcotic drug, possession of methamphetamine, battery by means of a deadly weapon, criminal recklessness with a deadly weapon, leaving the scene with serious bodily injury, operating while intoxicated causing serious bodily injury, failure to return to lawful detention, strong-arm rape, failure to return to lawful detention, resisting law enforcement, burglary, resisting law enforcement, possession of methamphetamine, felon carrying a handgun, escape, robbery, neglect of a dependent, battery by means of a deadly weapon, child exploitation, possession of child pornography, aggravated battery, discharging a firearm, robbery, possession of methamphetamine, dealing in cocaine, rape, criminal confinement, domestic battery, strangulation, attempted murder, child molesting, strangulation, possession of a narcotic drug, possession of methamphetamine, possession of cocaine. Those are just the violent offenses. There were a number of other offenses that were coupled with those individuals that were wanted, one of which had 18 other criminal charges that were nonviolent in nature. So for someone to say that we're not involved in federal task forces or there aren't that many violent people in our community, that's evidence of some of the violent people that are living in not only LaPorte County but Northwest Indiana. And I go back to what I told you a couple of years ago at a HIDA board meeting in which the U.S. Attorney for Southern Indiana heard a presentation for the Great Lakes Fugitive Task Force from the United States Marshal Service, for which we have several members assigned to that. And he said, I can't believe how busy the Fugitive Task Force is in Northwest Indiana. And when I look at their statistics compared to what their counterparts in Indianapolis are doing, I'm wondering what we're doing down here, because up in Northwest Indiana, they are absolutely killing it. They're doing an excellent job. And that was a really proud moment for me, because the reason they're so busy, and part of the reason, is our partnership, and Sergeant Keith Wilson, Sergeant Brett Swanson, Deputy Troy Ryan, they're involved in that task force, and Deputy Keith Waltz as well. They're just doing an excellent job. We're really proud of the members of our FAST team, and they have an extremely dangerous job. They take substantial risks every day for their safety, and they're always available at a moment's notice. So for instance, when they get information that there's a wanted murder suspect that may be in the area, whether he's wanted charges locally or maybe out of Chicago or another Northwest Indiana Law Enforcement Academy, they may get a call in the middle of the night where they have intelligence that they may be, say, at a hotel or some sort of a home. They activate immediately, go out and set up, conduct surveillance, and ultimately take that individual into custody. We in LaPorte County and Northwest Indiana are substantially safer because of the work that they do. So I take exception to the fact that somebody would make this assertion. The Police Memorial will be held on May 13th at 10 a.m. in the Performing Arts Center of the former Alliston High School. A lunch will follow, and I appreciate what Chief Deputy Ron Heeg is doing for that. He's organizing it this year, and he's taking the point for the Sheriff's Office. But again, this will be a joint memorial service with all of law enforcement in LaPorte County. There are 5 remaining applicants in our merit hiring process. The in-house interviews for those candidates will take place on April 21st. So the Merit Commission will need to set a date and a time for those interviews after April 21st. So at some point, if you can find a mutually acceptable date, and then we'll get word to the applicants that remain as a result of the in-house interviews that we're doing. Nothing that you need to act on now. At the March Merit Commission meeting, we discussed our proposed request for support regarding a policy change to the current county health insurance for retirees to reduce the eligibility to age 50 with 20 years of service. Currently, the LaPorte County retiree health insurance is 55, but we're asking that if a public employee is eligible for full retirement benefits, that they also be eligible for retiree health insurance. The Pension Board voted to support this policy change on February 9th, and the Merit Commission then followed up and voted to support the change. On April 6th, the county commissioners voted also to support this change, and it's now going before the county council for final approval on April 25th. Thank you to Chief Deputy Heek for making the presentation. Our annual jail inspection took place on March 24th, and the inspectors were very complimentary of our operation, services that we provide, and the reports as well. The official inspection report will be completed this month, and it will be forwarded by the Department of Corrections to the Circuit Court Judge, Commissioners, and the Council President. I have to give thank you and a huge shout out to Captain Ott, Sergeant John Wiltshire, Sergeant Steve Oliver, as well as our Administrative Coordinator Jeannie Crosland for their preparation and the presentation during our inspection and the guided tour that they gave. Our annual jail report is complete, not the inspection report, but our jail report is complete. That has already been provided to the state of Indiana, and it can be found on our website along with our annual department report. You go to the Sheriff's Office website and you click on the About tab, and then you click on the Statistics tab, and you'll see the different reports that are available for inspection on there. I encourage you to do that. We did receive our year-end financial report from the Unity Foundation regarding our Neil Thompson Memorial Scholarship. The report is included in this Merit Commission packet. I immediately shared it with Merit Commissioner Laura Francisconi because she's been involved from the very beginning with getting this account transitioned to the Unity Foundation. She has had an opportunity to analyze it with her financial background. She has agreed to kind of give us some synopsis to you because it's not easy to interpret some of the data that's on the report that was provided. But Mrs. Francisconi, if you could do that.
Yeah, thank you. You can you have copies in your packet, and if you want to turn to the third page with the statement of activity where it states the fund balance of $106,910.97. Yeah, Sheriff, I had to call Jamie Miller at the Unity Foundation to get a little bit of clarification on some of this because these foundation funds operate a little bit differently than a corporate accounting system, but they've provided a fairly simple statement of activity instead of a full-fledged financial statement. And you can see that our fund balance started on January 1st, 2021 of $106,910.97. We had total receipts in that fund of $29,720.84, of which a little over 11,000 were in gifts and bequests. Interest was just under 2,800. Realized gains and losses $208, and unrealized gains and losses of $15,679. So the distributions that went out, administrative fee expense of a little over $1,700. The grant expense, that's actually the grants. So that's last year, if you remember, we had 3 grants in the amount of $1,500 each. The interfund grants is $7,500, and that's what the statement is on the previous page. It's a holding fund for the funds for the future to be granted out. Since we don't know year to year how much will be given out, they extract a certain amount, a certain dollar amount, and then if it's not given out, they hold it in a separate fund. So that's why we have 2 separate statements. And then we have the investment fees. So the total distributions were $14,122.75. Then it's given accounting of all the contributions, which were mostly from the Sheriff's Christmas show, so that's nice, and then a few private donations. And then on the, I don't know if on the next page it shows the distribution, but I think we were all here for each of those grants that were given last year. I do just want to say that a reminder that anybody can donate to this fund. They can send a check to the Unity Foundation and just note on there or specify that it goes to the Neil G. Thompson Memorial Scholarship Fund. And lastly, just a note that they consistently are on par with or outperform the GRP, which is the benchmark for guiding these types of funds, and I'm very impressed with it. So in 2021, we outperformed by 3% the benchmark. And so I think our funds are in good hands at the Unity Foundation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Francis Cody, and I would agree. I think it's in very good hands, and I know, as I've said numerous times, the State Board of Accounts is really pleased that we've moved it into a community foundation, and it is actually growing at more than what it had been previously grown, where we were just getting, we did have a couple of CDs, we were getting some interest as a result of that, but we had quite a bit in interest-bearing accounts and in making just really a pittance of interest, but now they're really growing it. But also importantly is they're growing the notoriety of it, which is really one of the main purposes, is to make sure that we don't allow Neil Thompson to be forgotten about. So now more of the community is learning about Neil Thompson, who he was and how he lived, and through these young people who are awarded scholarships, his legacy continues through them. And we're really happy about that. Thank you for your analysis. It's great having you on board that you can do that. And again, had it not been for you and your guidance and you sitting alongside me when we had these meetings with the Unity Foundation, this may not have come to fruition. Thank you again. Something that's not on the agenda, recently we had Abate of Indiana come to the Sheriff's Office, kind of surprised us, and they said they wanted to present us with this plaque. It's the Freedom of the Road Award, and it is because of our partnership with Abate of Indiana and our partnership and dedication to service to Indiana motorcyclists. They felt strongly enough that they made the trip here to LaPorte County to present us with that. We're really proud of what our patrol does to partner with Abate when they have events throughout the county, that we're always there side by side with them, promoting motorcycle safety and helping them with their various fundraising events and awareness events they have. So this will be hung prominently somewhere within the Sheriff's Office. Finally, we have emails and letters and thank yous of commendation. And the first is an email commendation from Captain Annie Heineck to Deputies Jacob Payne, Ryan Doporowski, Wade Wallace, and Bobby Greer for their response to a shooting that occurred across the street from Rolling Prairie Elementary School. On March 24th, Captain Heineck wrote just a quick message of appreciation to Deputies Payne, Doporowski, Wallace, Greer, who was off duty, for their immediate response to the shooting on Michigan Street this afternoon. It was a high-stress, quickly evolving call, and each of you handled your assignment with the highest of standards. I spent some time at the elementary school with the affected children, and the school administration all commented on our agency's response and security to the community. Job well done. Congratulations, Captain Andrew Heineck. I responded to all of them, job very well done, gents. The dynamic of this incident occurring in such close proximity to the school at the end of the school day only added to the risk and stress, and you all handle it perfectly. You continue to make us proud, and our community is safer. Sincerely, Sheriff John Boyd. This was all scanned into their individual permanent personnel files as well. The next is an email commendation from Deputy Prosecuting Attorney Atlee Price regarding the investigative skills of Detective Jim Fish. Sheriff Boyd, I just finished reviewing paperwork completed and submitted by Detective Jim Fish regarding a serious narcotics case against a suspect. I certainly should be forwarding this to your attention because of the diligence and professional work product. However, in his cases, they're always of such caliber that I unfortunately take it for granted. I would urge you to seriously considering having Detective Fish proffer training to all patrol deputies and their supervisors on how to conduct what I consider to be a textbook traffic stop, search, report preparation, and submission for prosecution. He is truly an asset to your department. I would urge members of the Michigan City Police Department and LaPorte Police Department to avail themselves of his prowess as well. Sincerely, Atlee Price, Deputy Prosecuting Attorney. I then forwarded this email to Detective Fish, and I said, Detective Fish, please see this complimentary email that I've received from Prosecuting Attorney Atlee Price regarding the outstanding work in this recent narcotics case. As you can see, you've received the highest praise from start to finish of this investigation, and while I am not surprised at the quality of work you produce, I am especially pleased that it continues to be recognized by those outside of this agency. Thank you for your continued attention to detail and consistency in producing outstanding textbook investigations. This email will be scanned to your personnel file and read at the next Merit Commission meeting. Sheriff John Boyd. The next is a commendation from, I actually have that, I'm sorry, it is an email from LaPorte Police Chief Paul Breton regarding our agency's role in a shooting that occurred in the city of LaPorte. To all, I had passed along to supervisors and also to Sheriff Boyd how pleased I was with the response to the incident on Clay Street on Sunday evening. This was written on March 30th. What a great job by the midnight shift and the officers of this department and the sheriff's office that responded to safely place the suspect into custody and get aid to the victim in this incident. This incident follows another shooting in which the afternoon shift and day shifts from both the LaPorte Police Department and Sheriff's Department worked together to safely get the suspect detained and aid to the victim. Of course, it also goes without saying that the job our detectives did along with the prosecutor's office to bring the correct charges, tie up loose ends, interviews, investigations, and evidence collection. It is also inspirational to see our working relationship that we have with LaPorte County residents and the Sheriff's Office. We should all be proud of our law enforcement officers and the prosecutor's office. Sheriff Boyd and Prosecutor Lake, please feel free to share this with your staff and their appreciation that the LaPorte Police Department has for your assistance and dedication to the citizens of this county. Sincerely, Paul Breton. I responded to him, thank you, Chief, for taking the time to highlight and thank our agency for our role in this multi-jurisdictional effort to investigate these violent crimes. We're pleased to partner with the LaPorte Police Department and the Prosecuting Attorney's Office. Thank you for your role in fostering such positive relationships. Sincerely, Sheriff John Boyd. This was also scanned and put into the packets of those that were involved. That too was a fluid situation. Finally, you'll see that D, I apologize for that. That was something that was on last month's agenda that's already been read. As a reminder, next month meeting is Wednesday, May 11th at 9 a.m. and then a pension board meeting will immediately follow. You'll see the Warrants Division, Detective Bureau, and monthly jail reports are attached. You'll see that our divisions remain extremely busy. Added to it was the background investigations that our Detective Bureau handled along with their normal caseload. There were a number of those background investigations that they did. The monthly jail report, some interesting information in the summary. You'll again see that we served 33,000 meals last month. Not only are we serving meals for the inmates within the Sheriff's Office and Community Corrections, but recently we took on the task of providing meals to the Juvenile Services Center because their cook is out indefinitely due to an injury or sickness or something, but nonetheless, we're pleased to provide them meals out there as well. I should also mention that it's extremely dangerous job in our jail, evidenced by the fact that earlier this month we did have one of our jail deputies that was feloniously attacked while he was merely trying to serve food to an inmate who came out and immediately attacked him and actually bit him. He's being charged, but that individual has some significant mental health issues. So we're trying to feverishly get him into the Department of Mental Health, but they just don't have any bed space available. And then you'll see the warrants report from our warrants division. This was prepared by Sergeant Steve Listinsky. You'll see that we received 170 warrants last month. We did serve 112, so they're very busy. That's an average of about 4 a day. That's 7 days a week, not just 5 days a week. They did a number of extraditions and transports, 28, so they're on the road a lot. They're very, very busy. And that concludes our report. Thank you. I hope that you all have a blessed Easter holiday and that you're all safe and remain healthy.
Thank you, Sheriff. Are there any comments from the floor? Any comments from the floor? Up.
On what the sheriff just mentioned with the individual that assaulted one of our staff members. Sorry, I got candy in my mouth.
You bringing it up for all of us?
I didn't, but I can get you some. So we just yesterday. So this isn't something maybe he didn't know. We have the order, and that order has been given to the Department of Mental Health. So that's moving in the right direction, because this person desperately needs some additional mental health care. So that'll happen at the availability of a bed, which is statewide concerns. So that's a good thing. So,
I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I'm going to. Roughly how many individuals in our jail do we have court orders for to transport to the Department of Health, but we're merely waiting for a bed to open up?
3.
Okay.
3, which
That's down.
That's progress. We in the last, probably since from this report that were provided to you, we've sent 3. So that was double. It may not sound like a lot until you care for them, because it is a challenge to our staff, and they do a good job. We do the best we can with the resources that we have. So we have 3 right now, and all of them have been the initiation to the awareness or whatever the reporting requirements to the facility that they're designated for has been done. Meaning there's things that we need to do on our end before that person is accepted, and then we get a hard date. So all of it, we are completely at the mercy of bed availability. So, and the other thing I wanted to mention was with JDC, we just last week on Friday were told that they no longer need our services, and they've which was good to hear a little bit. I mean, our staff, it's a tribute to being in contract with Tiger Correctional. They took on the responsibility of that, and nowhere in that is it laid out that way. But they did it, and it was really good because we helped out another entity of the county. So anyways, thank you.
Thank you.
And I wanted to point out too, with those that we're holding for the Department of Mental Health, we at times will hold somebody absent any criminal charges because they've been ordered to the Department of Health, and the court orders them in our jail until they can get to the Department of Health. With that said, we routinely go to 4 different entities in the state of Indiana where there are state hospitals: Evansville, Richmond, Indianapolis, and Logansport. Recently, we've been going to Evansville and Richmond, and the drive down to Evansville in a jail van with an individual is a 14-hour day. So we always have to send at least 2 staff members in a van down to Evansville, and it is a long day for them. But that's our responsibility to get them down there per court order. And the sooner we can get somebody out of here down to the state hospital, the quicker they can get on the road to recovery. But it frees up space for somebody that we really need to have in here. Unfortunately, jails throughout the state of Indiana and throughout the nation are the largest provider of mental health needs because there just aren't enough facilities. And in Indiana, there just isn't enough bed space. And we at the Sheriff's Association have made the legislature aware of that, the Department of Mental Health, and the governor's office, and they're all working on finding a solution. Unfortunately for us, it's not quick enough, but we're hoping that one will come sooner rather than later.
So I don't want to keep going back and forth on this. So these facilities, they have reporting times. So no good way of saying it. They dictate to us when we bring that person, not specific to the date, but to the time, by 9 a.m. And they have their reasons for it, and I don't need to get into all that, but they have their reasons for that because of staffing and different things. So yeah, it makes it tough for all of us to setting up the transport and just getting that person in the vehicle to get there. And so there's a lot of things that we are championed with, but we get it done. But it is challenging. So thank you.
Thank you.
This one doesn't turn off.
Any other comments from the floor? Any other comments from the floor? Hearing none, comments closed. Comments from the board? Jim?
I don't know who the elected official was that questioned our involvement with our FAST team members. All they simply had to do was watch our meetings. We had letters of thanks from our federal team members, thanking our team members specifically regarding their involvement and citing the dangers that they go through day to day. So, I mean, all they had to do is watch our meetings.
Ms. Mock? Jim? Laura?
I was going to make the exact same comment as Mr. Schooley, but I will add that I appreciate you going into the great detail today. I think we need to hear those things. We need to hear the details. I know those aren't full details, but the types of violence that's involved with these. All right, thank you.
Yeah, I'll just kind of thumbnail on that. I think that education is always the best route to get an answer or either provide the information to support what your accusations are or to diminish them or completely just wipe them out. And, again, I have to totally agree with what Mr. Schooley said, that this stuff is always discussed at this meeting. We go into detail, the sheriff does, on the participation from the FAST team and that, to get these absolutely dangerous people off the streets. And that list that you read, Sheriff, was mind-boggling. And when I want to go back a little bit about education and getting some of our elected officials to our meetings was, if you remember at the last pension meeting, Commission President Randy Novak was present, and I believe Mike Mullenhour may have also been present. And it did me good to hear Council President Randy Novak give kudos at one of the council meetings that he attended. He had attended the pension board, and he felt very, very comfortable that pension board was doing an excellent job to make sure that the pension funds were overseen, that they were being massaged to make sure they get the most amount out of that we can for the future of the department and the individuals. And I did talk with Randy, and I thanked him immensely for being here to see what we do and to see the in-depth discussions that go into just about everything that does, that the pension board does. And I think that anybody who wants to question that they just need to start making themselves more available to attend these meetings and ask questions, and if nothing else, just listen, because they'll probably get their own answer to their own question. One question that I had, Sheriff, on the report that was submitted by Sergeant Listinsky on the warrants, that did not include the FAST.
No, those are separate statistics.
We will, when the meeting adjourns, I'd like to ask the five of us to get together to look at a date. Chief, are you going to be available, and we'll see if we can get that taken care of, maybe use the same format that we did last time that seemed to work out, so see what we can come up with. But that's all I have. Again, I want to thank everyone for being here today. Surprised there weren't more people here to try out the new chairs that are out there. But anyway, with that being said, are there any other comments from the board? Hearing none, to have a motion to adjourn. Have a motion, to have a second.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Meeting adjourned 9:43 a.m. Thank you.